Sahana Bhavatu, Sahano Bhunatu, Sahaviryam Karavavai, Tejasvinavaditamastu, Bhavidishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May Brahman protect us. May he guide us and give us strength and right understanding. May love and harmony be with us all. Om peace, peace, peace. And good evening. Our topic is death, dying, and the afterlife, which is kind of appropriate for just right after Halloween. And last night I told a few spooky stories, which I'm going to repeat now. So if you tuned into the Friday night class in Hollywood, you'll get the same stories. But and then we'll explain how some of these things might happen. The first one was told to me by an elderly couple that came to the temple, and the lady told me about an incident when she received a phone call from a friend whom she talked to on the phone fairly frequently. And the friend said, I don't know what's wrong. I feel kind of strange this evening, kind of cold. I was taking a bath and I just feel very strange. And then she kind of hung up. And then she found out that the lady had died before that phone call.
Oh dear.
Somehow she managed to make a phone call after she died. Then the second story, somewhat similar, told to me by a devotee who lived in our apartment house, Ruby Finney. One of her relatives who lived in San Diego heard a knock on the door, so she went to the door and her aunt was there with her suitcase. She wasn't expecting her. And the aunt says, well, hello, I've come to live with you. And the lady was a little shocked. Okay, I'll go get the guest room ready. And she goes and comes back and the lady's gone. So she makes some phone calls to find out what's happened. The aunt had died. And then very soon after that, she became pregnant. And so she assumed that the aunt had reincarnated as her child. That was the only explanation she could think of as to why the aunt would appear to her and say that she had come to live with her. Because she wasn't living with her then because she had died. Then we had a devotee named Joya. And when she passed away, a couple of our other devotees were the executors of her estate. So they were at her home, clearing out her house, going through her things and so forth. And they saw the bed depress like this. So they assumed that she was sort of there watching them. Then the strangest one was told by a relatively young lady, probably in her late 20s, early 30s, at the Snow Math Interreligious Dialogue that I was invited to one year. I was just one of the guests. Every year they invite a couple of extra people. So I was one of the extras. But this lady was the daughter of the Native American representative. They didn't look terribly Native American, but somehow he was the Native American representative. And she told a story about how one year when she was probably a young teenager, she went to summer camp. And a friend that she hadn't seen for a while was there, and they just had a great time playing together and doing all the normal camp things together. And so when she went home, she told her mom, oh, it was so much fun. You know who was there? So-and-so was there. And she stared at her and says, it's not possible. She had died in a car crash before the camp started. And so somehow this friend manifested an astral body. So this is the explanation that Swami Atmavydyananda gives for all of these appearances, that souls after they die can somehow manifest an astral body, sort of an ectoplasm type of body, and appeared to people. And of course, we also know that Ramakrishna appeared to Holy Mother and to a couple of other people. And so we kind of expect that when it's an avatar, that people have visions of their chosen ideal and so forth. But we don't usually expect it from ordinary beings. But it does happen, and you do hear people talk about seeing what they would call a ghost. Now, Atmavidyananda was one of these people, one of these swamis who came to the United States very early on to really take over the work from Swami Vivekananda, who was not intending to stick around, not only in the United States, but he wasn't going to stick around in the mortal plane. And so Atmavidyananda came over and stayed for over 20 years. First, he did a little work in England, but most of his work was in the United States, at the center where Swami Atmavydyananda is now, the Vedanta Center in New York. And he also did work in New England. But he was very much in tune with what was going on in the United States at the time. He wanted to be able to relate to the people that were coming to his talks. And this was important because he would be invited to different groups to speak. And they were, it's okay if you need to go. I'm okay
Today
talking
we
to a
have
camera.
the Diwali thing,
Yeah,
Friends of India.
yeah. I'm okay talking to a camera. So, in fact, I just have to prepare for tomorrow. So-
Namaste.
Namaste. All right, so he, in fact, he was invited to talk to the spiritualists conference. The spiritualists were big in the United States at that time. And understanding a little history, that of course Christianity, for people of any kind of scientific mind, was in kind of shaky grounds. Geology and archaeology and so forth had really made it impossible for people that accepted science to take the Bible literally. And so if you're not going to take it on complete faith, then you're going to have some doubts. And so then you have to kind of bolster up your faith as to, is there anything real about all of this religion stuff? And so people were turning to spiritualism. And so there was actually a church, the Spiritualist Church. In fact, our St. Petersburg Center was founded by a spiritualist. He was a spiritualist and his wife was a yoga teacher, and they founded the Center for Spiritualism and Vedanta in St. Petersburg. They were disciples of Nikhilananda, and eventually, when they passed away, they willed it to Swami Nikhilananda's center. And so that, which I think was the East Side Center. So that's interesting little bit of history. So Atmavidyananda just didn't casually explore these things. He talked to these groups. He talked to one group of 7,000 people in the audience, mostly these spiritualists. He also had people like William James in his audience. Now, I think William James died shortly after. I don't think he lived too much longer than that. But, and he quoted people like Myers as well. And both of those people were prominent psychologists and spiritualists. They were trying to prove on a scientific basis that the soul existed after death. And so they were doing experiments, and they would do a lot of seances. And Swami Atmavydyananda was invited to many of these seances. And he tells some interesting stories about how he would go to these seances, and he said that a lot of them could be discounted as fraud. Some of these mediums they're just trying to make a living, and so they would try to dramatize things, and they would be caught as being fraudulent. But he said some of them were definitely not fraudulent, in his opinion, that he used every test he could think of and didn't find that they were fraudulent at all. And the difficulty he found was that people were depending on these for spiritual teachings, and they weren't particularly enlightened beings for the most part. I mean, you always kind of hope you're talking to Archangel Gabriel or Michael or somebody, but a lot of times it's some earthbound spirit who just wants to play with you, and takes over the weak mind of a medium and transmits whatever they feel like transmitting. Sometimes he felt like they were reading his mind and simply regurgitating what he already knew. And other times they would simply say that they didn't know the answers to his questions. He would ask them questions about life after death and reincarnation and so forth. Some of them would agree and just reiterate what he would have said, and others said that they didn't know anything about that or that they disagreed with it. So he was not terribly impressed with the answers that he got from these. Although there was one strange incident where he seemed to have fairly good evidence that Swami Yogananda was communicating with him on one of these automatic slate writing type of seances. He actually wrote in Bengali, Sanskrit, Greek, and English on the slate. And so nobody in that area that he knew of, except for himself, knew Bengali or Sanskrit. And so he was pretty sure that this was some sort of a genuine transmission by some entity that knew these languages anyway. And he checked the Greek, and it was a very accurate rendering of some quotes from Plato on these kinds of topics of the soul and so forth. So he didn't just casually dabble in these things. He really dove into them and explored them quite thoroughly. And so he felt that they were, some of them were genuine, but he cautioned people who tried to get their spiritual knowledge from them. He says that they're not enlightened people. We have the works of enlightened people. We have the Gospel of Ramakrishna. We have the work of all the works of Swami Atmavydyananda. We have all the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads and all these scriptures. Why try to get your teachings from some spirit entity which is taken over the medium's control? So he cautioned about this. And so, you know, if you hear somebody else cautioning you about this, you think, well, they just, they're just spoil sports. They don't want to, they're not interested in you dabbling in this. But he actually participated in these things and found out what was genuine about them and what was not of any interest really to us. So what are some of the basic Hindu beliefs about death, dying, and the afterlife, and the purpose of life? Well, of course, in Hinduism, we believe that we are here on life as really an aspect of Brahman. Brahman is the ultimate reality, and from Brahman, everything flows. So all of us are, the soul of all of us is identical with Brahman. The Atman is Brahman. And so one way of thinking of this is that just as an author can create as many characters as they want in a drama, and these all have various roles to play in the drama, the power of Maya that Brahman has to manifest the universe can create this universe, and we are all these characters in this universe. And then the goal of the game of being in this universe is to discover our oneness back with Brahman. that we're not just an actor in a drama, but we're actually an aspect of Brahman. We're one with Brahman. And so that's really the goal of life. So most Hindus talk about karma and reincarnation. And karma is just the basic law of cause and effect. As you sow, so shall you reap. And so Hindus want to do as much good action as they can in order to create good karma, because good karma will allow them to have a better life in the next life, or even in this life, they will have a better life in this life, as well as in the future life. When a soul dies, when a person dies, the soul doesn't die. When a person dies, when the body dies, the soul leaves the body and is in an intermediate state. And if it has a lot of good karma, it might go to a kind of heavenly realm where it can enjoy the fruits of some of that good karma. And if it has a lot of hard lessons to learn, it might go to an unpleasant place where they have to burn off, you could say, some of their bad karma. And so after that, they have a better understanding of the way life works, much better than we have now. They understand the kind of life they lived, the kind of consequences they had, that their actions had, and the kinds of lessons they need to learn. And so they, in conjunction with various spiritual entities, they are guided into a new life and a new contract, you could say, where they take on certain parents, and the parents are the appropriate parents to manifest a body for this person, so that the various karmic patterns that they need to work out can be manifest. So if it's their desires in their previous life, as well as the lessons they need to learn, which brings them back into a new body. So the body needs to be that which will allow them to get through some of those desires, and also allow them to work off some of their karmic debts, you could say. So perhaps they were cruel to a certain group of people. Well, they might be born in that kind of group of people, so that they have to experience what it's like to be them. They might have a great aspiration to be a great tennis player. So they're going to have to be born in a family where that is going to be possible. So all of these things are taken into consideration, and they take on a new body and lead a new life. But ultimately, the final destination is for liberation from this cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, to realize that we are one with Brahman, and that and you can't do that just by making good karma. Good karma will make it easier for you to realize this, but it won't actually get you out of it. There's no action you can do that will help you that will guarantee that you're going to realize Brahman. You have to do this through a meditation practice and a concentrated effort to realize that you are one with Brahman, and that you have to pray to have your desires released, that you can let go of your desires, let go of your aspirations, let go of your family ties, let go of your friendships, let go of all the things of attachment that you have. It doesn't mean you desert your family. It just means that you realize that you can be detached from them. You still go to your work and you do your job as well as you can, but you're detached from the result. You're not attached to being a particular type of person. You're not attached to being the best doctor in the town, or the best preacher in the town, or the best musician in the town. You just do your job as best you can. So by doing this, and then you're trying to free yourself of your ego. Your ego is your main barricade to realizing that yourself is one with Brahman. Now, the most important thing for a Hindu is the state of the mind at the moment of death. Now, a lot of times, unfortunately, we're not that conscious when we die. We might be unconscious. So we have to keep the prominent thoughts in our mind to be thoughts of God. If you're not conscious at the moment of death, it's the thoughts that have been most prominent through your life that are the most important. Ideally, one would die in the presence of relatives, even more ideally at home, or in the presence of like-minded spiritual seekers who can recite various passages from the scriptures, perhaps repeat some mantras or sing some sacred songs so that your mind is on those ideas. Even if you're not completely conscious, it's said that your hearing is sort of the last thing to go. And so even the unconscious person can perceive the sounds of songs and mantras and chanting and scriptural passages that are being repeated. It's also traditional to put water from the Ganges into the mouth of the dying or recently deceased person. Then it's thought to be very auspicious for the soul to be cremated, because there can be attachment to the body. After all, you inhabited it for many decades and you took good care of it, perhaps. After all, it's the temple of the Atman. So there can be an attachment to the body. And so in order to break that attachment, it's thought that cremation is the best way to do that. Also, it's a sacrifice. You're sacrificing your body to go back to the elements. And so it's burnt, and so it goes into the fire element, the smoke goes into the air, the ashes are put into the sacred river of some sort or some body of water, and eventually that soaks down back into Mother Earth. And so you've got all those four elements. You've got your body going back to the four elements from which it came. And of course, your soul is the most spiritual thing, and it is released from the body. It's not a part of the body. Also, usually after about 13 days, and sometimes a year after the deceased has passed away, various sacrifices and offerings or a feast is given. And this is thought to be propitious for the deceased. If you do good actions in their name, it is to their benefit. You are benefiting them by doing good actions for the deceased. So these are some of the common things of Hinduism. Let's see. I think we've covered most of the basics. So let's now do some meditating, because the whole idea is that we want to be prepared for that last moment by having kept our thoughts on the goal. And so the goal is to realize your oneness with Brahman. And so I'm going to read some passages, and then we're going to meditate on some of these passages. So I'll repeat them again while we're doing our guided meditation, along with some of the singing bowls. Here we go. As the sun, revealer of all objects to the seer, is not harmed by a sinful eye, nor by the impurities of the objects it gazes on, so the one self with a capital S, dwelling in all, is not touched by the evils of the world, for that soul transcends all. That soul is one, the Lord and inmost self of all, of one form. That person makes of himself many forms. To him who sees that self revealed in his own heart belongs eternal bliss, and to none else, As air, though one, takes the shape of every object which it enters, so the self, though one, takes the shape of every object in which it dwells. As fire, though one, takes the shape of every object which it consumes, so the self, though one, takes the shape of every object in which it dwells. Those are from the Katha Upanishad, which of course is a big description about Nachiketa going to the king of death and learning the secrets of death. The whole universe came from Brahman, moves in Brahman. For those who attain him, death has no terror. In fear of him, fire burns, the sun shines, the rain falls, the wind blows, and death kills. If a man fails to attain Brahman before he casts off his body, he must again put on a body in the world of created things. In one's own soul, Brahman is realized clearly, as if in a mirror. In the heaven of Brahma also is Brahman realized clearly, as one distinguishes light from darkness. In the world of the fathers, he is beheld as in a dream. In the world of angels, he appears as if reflected in water. Above the senses is the mind. Above the mind is the intellect. Above the intellect is the ego. Above the ego is the unmanifested seed, the primal cause. And verily beyond the unmanifested seed is Brahman, the all-pervading spirit, the unconditioned, knowing whom one attains to freedom and achieves immortality. None beholds him with the eyes, for he is without a visible form. Yet in the heart he is revealed through self-control and meditation. Those who know him become immortal. To get to the part on Om, then we're going to chant Om. Om is Brahman, both the conditioned and the unconditioned, the personal and the impersonal. By meditating upon it, the wise man may attain either the one or the other. If he meditates upon Om with but little knowledge of its meaning, but nevertheless is enlightened thereby, upon his death he will be immediately born again on this earth, and during his new life he will be devoted to austerity, continence, and faith, and will attain to spiritual greatness. So that's the power of Om, that you can chant it even without paying much attention to what it means, or maybe you don't even know what it means. It just sounds like fun to chant Om. Everybody's doing it, right? So you're chanting Om, and you feel like you're kind of into the new age here, but you don't really know anything about it. Well, even so, you will then be reborn with the circumstances where you will dive into spiritual practice with great earnestness. If again he meditates upon Om with greater knowledge of its meaning, upon his death he will ascend to the lunar heaven, and after he has partaken of its pleasures, will again return to earth. But if he meditates upon Om in full consciousness, that it is one with God, upon his death he will be united with the light that is in the sun. He will be freed from evil, even as a snake is freed from its skin, and he will ascend to God's dwelling place. There he will realize Brahman, who evermore abides in the hearts of all beings. Brahman is supreme. By the virtue of a little understanding of Om, a man returns to earth after death. By virtue of greater understanding, he attains the celestial sphere, and by virtue of a complete understanding, he learns what is known only to the seers. The sage, with the help of Om, reaches Brahman, the fearless, the undecaying, the immortal. All right, so with that, we're going to chant Om and then do some meditations on some of these passages, along with some sound from the metal bowls.
Oh, good. I thought maybe I missed it.
So remember the Om sound. Feel it vibrating in your root chakra. Keep the sound of Om going mentally. And picture red light glowing in your root chakra, resonating with the sound of the bowl. Now bring your awareness up to the second chakra, where you feel that all created things have come out of Brahman. The Om has created the whole universe. The universe is vibrating with Om, and the whole universe has come out of those vibrations. Now bring your awareness up to the solar plexus. And with the sound of Om still resonating within you, feel that the sun is the source of all energy and represents that Om permeating the whole universe with energy, permeating our bodies with energy. Feel that solar energy streaming down on the resonance of Om. Beautiful yellow light, bringing life and energy to all things. Now move your awareness up to the heart center. Feel the vibration of Om generating a beautiful green light, radiating out from the heart center. To him who sees the self revealed in his own heart belongs eternal peace. Bring your awareness up to the throat center, the beautiful blue color vibrating along with the Om and the sound of the bowl. In my speech, always remember my oneness with Brahman. Now moving up to the third eye. Imagine yourself preparing for the final moments where the soul will leave the body. And you're concentrating on Om and your mantra, your chosen ideal. Practice this scenario so that you're ready. To the Om vibrating in the forehead, the third eye. And the soul ready to leave the body through the crown chakra. Take some nice deep breaths. And feel the Om vibrating through the whole body. With each breath, feel Om vibrating from the toes all the way up through the torso, all the way up to the top of the head. Physical world is a vibration of Om. The mental world is a vibration of Om. The subtle world is a vibration of Om. The causal world is a vibration of Om. Everything is a vibration of Om. Everything is one with Brahman. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Filled with Brahman are the things we see. Filled with Brahman are the things we see not. From out of Brahman floweth all that is. From Brahman all, yet is it still the same. Om peace, peace, peace. Any announcements in the future?
Yes. I better do it. Kneeling because the camera went down a little bit, so kneel into the gratefulness. Yeah, we want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. I know it's a busy time of year after what was it, the Diwali. Yes. But we do have some things coming up. Next, I believe it'll be Sunday. We will have an event here also, and that will be starting at 5 p.m. with a puja, and at 6 p.m. with a talk, and it would be part 2 of the mystery of Divine Mother. So that was actually a very, very well received topic. So that's going to be again here on the 9th. And wonderfully, we also have a special guest after that, which is going to be Swami Atmavydyanandaji. Going to be here from the 21st through the 24th. So 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. And Maharaj, again, returning. It was very well received last time, so he's agreed to return again. So the 21st on Friday night, we'll have a satsang, and we'll start that at 6 p.m. with an arti and then his satsang. And 22nd, we'll have talks. Again, that will start at 5 with an arti and chanting. And then he'll have Swamiji's talk at 6 p.m. And Sunday, we'll have the same schedule. 5 p.m. we'll start with arti and 6 p.m. Swamiji's talk. And then that will continue. That will be our November. We'll have some more November, and I think you're on the 3rd is December as well. So
Possibly, yeah.
and then I'll actually be going to India on the 4th. So we'll have some events to announce after that. So thank you so very much, and thank you for coming. We so appreciate it. It was a wonderful time. Thank you all for coming, and at home as well. So, are we all set for me? Okay. So we'll end our streaming. I'm going to give pranams to Swami from everybody. Take care.